Hi, my name is Anthony and I'm an addict. Uh, I don't know if it was internal or external, exogenous or exogenous reasons why I became an addict. Well, there were definitely circumstances that led up to my addiction, but there were people in the neighborhood I grew up in that did not become addicts. But they did become alcoholics, but alcohol is a drug as well. So I started with alcohol. I grew up in a dope house, a gambling house, and a whole house. I know my family's going to be mad at me making these videos, but I'm telling my story as I see it, you know, as it happened to me, because I'm really telling the story because I don't want the following generations behind me to repeat it, you know, because we were taught as children by my grandmother to be slick. You got to cheat them to beat them. Know what you're doing. Never approach a situation with honesty. And that's not the best policy, honesty. You got to lie. You got to cheat. You got to steal. You got to make money regardless of how you do it. Her values were those of Mississippi values when she was raised in Yazoo City, Mississippi. And in Yazoo City, Mississippi, they had no resources. You know, they had no gross national product. Only thing they were able to sell down there was sex and booze and homemade booze, moonshine and homebrew. So when my grandmother moved from Mississippi to Chicago, she kept those same policies in hand. First, she started selling snowballs. Then she started uh, selling homebrew, and then the gambling. Always was the gambling. She was gambling in the house at night, all night long, and she would call us from upstairs. We had two stories. We had a two flat, not a two flat, but we had upstairs and downstairs, and she would call us from upstairs, from downstairs, and tell us to come down. Somebody knocking on the door, and want to buy some homebrew. So we was up all night long selling homebrew, and me and my brothers and sisters would argue while we were in the bed. My sister slept in another room, we slept in another room, and it was all of us sleeping in one room, all the boys. So I had five brothers and five sisters, and my oldest three siblings are deceased, and my younger brother are deceased, and two of them died from the horrors of their addiction. So addiction have taken a lot of lives in my family and a lot of lives around my community. So that's why I'm telling this story. I'm not trying to break any traditions of narcotics, of another fellowship, either any 12-step fellowship. I'm not trying to break the traditions. So, but I'm telling my story. This is my story. How I became an addict, or was I born an addict? You know, that my pituitary gland did not work. It didn't secrete enough endorphins to make me feel good about myself because I never felt good about myself. And I want you to understand, but I've been clean for 35 years. 35 years in, without the use of any drugs or alcohol. So I have a story to tell. And my story is very interesting and it should be heard around the world. That's why I'm making this video, to let people know that addiction is a greedy disease, man. It takes everything you got. It makes a mother lose her motherly instincts, her God-given instincts to be a mother. Makes her sell her link card, her food stamps, or whatever to get drugs. Make her sell her body. Make men sell their body to get drugs. It makes you rob, it makes you steal, it makes you do anything that's unnatural and inhumane, man. This drug is horrible. These drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it's a liquid, whether it's a pill form or whether it's a powder form, any addiction is terrible, and I wouldn't wish addiction on my worst enemy. You know, and I'm gonna tell my story, man, and how I came up and what happened to me, you know, over the years, and how I became clean and been clean for 35 years and haven't picked up any drugs, alcohol in 35 years, you know. So I'm gonna tell my story, and I need you to listen, because if anyone out there suffering from addiction thinking that they at the bottom, I used rock bottom as my launching point. That's why I started from rock bottom. That was my launching pad, man. You know, I never had a chance. I have been previously dissolved my blame list. I'm not blaming anybody for my addiction anymore. Even though the circumstances caused me to be an addict, I'm not blaming anybody. I erased my blame list, man. There's nobody responsible for my life but me. And so subscribe to my video so you can hear the rest of my story. You know, I got a hell of a story to tell. You know, I've been in a mass shooting. I've been shot twice, stabbed twice, you know. So, and I've been incarcerated for crimes that I never committed. So, but you got to understand that I was a part of the police. Just subscribe to my video, and I figure it out, and I come back and tell you. You know, just subscribe to my video and get this out there. All right, and tell your friends. You know, subscribe to this video.